Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spotlight. This is, of course, our show where we talk to the folks that make the stuff we love. And I am joined this evening, and Kurt practiced with me so I wouldn't get your last name wrong. Your last name wrong, sir. Blah, listen to me, I can't talk at all. But we're joined by actor and artist Duncan Regehr. Did I get that right?
You got it perfect.
Oh, my
Absolutely
God, I'm
right
so
on.
excited. How are you tonight?
Very well. Better seeing you guys anyway.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Very kind. I am joined by my partner Kurt in his first appearance on the Spotlight. Kurt, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks
Excellent.
for having me.
Oh,
Oh,
great. Well,
Kurt, you
Duncan,
said
thanks for spending
Kurt,
some time with us. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
well, I was saying to Kurt that you said that we'd spoken before at one point. Is that right?
Yes, sir. When we were getting this ball rolling on this interview,
Oh,
you
okay. I
called me
got you.
directly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Kurt is a great friend. He's actually helped me meet quite a number of people that kind of help launch this program. So,
Right.
but he wanted to talk to you specifically. So this is his first time being with us. But let's get the ball rolling. Duncan, great to have you here. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved in the entertainment business.
Oh, I think it was there very early on, theater, certainly. And, I always thought I would be an artist. And, from a very young age, 4 years of age, I thought,
Wow.
I was a painter. And I think by the age of 12, I knew that I was going to also be in the performing arts. And more specifically, the theater was interesting to me, Shakespeare. So that's where I began.
Wow.
And I started
Excellent.
working professionally at the age of 16. So
Wow. Wow.
good
Wow.
day.
Awesome. Great. Kurt.
Okay, wanted to ask you this. You have been in genre a lot of your acting life. You've played Zorro, you've played in Star Trek, you played in V. Can you talk about what attracted you to Zorro, perhaps your most famous role to date?
Sure. What attracted me to it was the idea of the dual characters. That was pretty important, that I was also working on a series called Doppelgangers at the time. So I liked the idea of Zorro, the man of action, dressed in a cape and, terribly theatrical, and then his other alter ego as a gentler human being. Sort of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, perhaps, type of arrangement. But there were many other things that, it's a classic, iconic figure. And it was very challenging physically,
Yeah.
particularly physically, to handle that role. We shot it in Spain, just outside of Madrid for the most part. And it was physically demanding. I mean, I worked 7 days a week every day and did all the fight scenes and the sword play, the horse riding, the you know big crowd scenes. It was a lot of work and on a very tight schedule and a tighter budget in those days. But it was fun. It was fun. It was very, very edifying and exhilarating. All of it.
Fantastic. Well, as I'm sure you can tell by looking around me, I'm a very big Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's one of the core shows that we do on our podcast network. But you've got what a lot of people would say kind of two sides of the Star Trek coin. You have a very great recurring role as Shaakar Adan. First Minister and lover of Kira Nerys. We actually had Nana on the show a number of months back, and I saw her in the Star Trek quiz earlier this year. Lovely woman.
Yeah.
So great role that it started I think in season 3 and expanded kind of throughout the latter part of the series. But then it's tough to avoid thinking about the infamous role from that episode Sub Rosa in Star Trek: The Next Generation that a lot of people kind of giggle about because it, like I said, is kind of infamous. But in a lot of ways, being such a big Star Trek fan, I find something to enjoy about pretty much everything, in all of the franchises. But how would you, kind of compare, contrast, and talk about your time in Star Trek? Maybe looking at those two roles to, completely separately, maybe together, and just kind of your overall experience being part of that, kind of machine that was that franchise.
Well, I think that I started with, the, Ronan character,
Right.
um, and, it was intriguing, mostly because I was interested in the storyline. I coming to Star Trek and not knowing what had gone before or anything, I just stepped into it and they handed me the script and said, "This is it." And I thought, "Oh, well, that's interesting that you would want to do a show about 2 lovers becoming one being." And that's intrigued me a lot. I thought that was kind of fascinating. Apart from, the idea that, Ronan is a Byron-esque kind of figure, very poetic and very, but at the same time, a kind of a Dracula in a
Right.
way because he was parasitical. He would, fed off the energy of the women and, survived that way as a what did they call it? An anaphasic life form, I think he was called.
You nailed it. That's
Yeah,
exactly
you
what it
have to
was.
look that one up.
You got it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I found it intriguing that way, a bit bizarre, and then later on, I found out that I was the sex candle ghost, which I thought, "Wow, I'll take it. Yes, thank you." It really is quite wonderful, and the whole thing is fairly notorious, as you say. I mean,
Right.
the people either love it or it's, critically derided as well. So it's got that, kind of cult aspect to it, and I enjoyed it very much. And, of course,
Okay.
working with Gates was she's a wonderful, wonderful actor and, has wonderful ideas, and Patrick as well, of course, they were great. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then, later on, they moved on to, came back with the idea of Shaakar, for Deep Space Nine, um, which I understood why they would want me to do it because it was kind of a swashbuckler and, the rebel leader and all of that sort of thing. And I enjoyed the first episode that I did more than the, subsequent ones because he was a man of action
Right.
and, had more involvement with, the lovely Nana, which was,
Mhm.
very easy to fall in love with. Um,
Right. Agreed.
she's wonderful, and, so, it worked for a time for me. I didn't quite understand the prime minister role, I have to say. It's to go from, the excitement of the swashbuckler to this sort of guy that they just talk about rather than being the man of action making things happen. They reported his activities more than showed them. And there were other aspects to it that were, would have required just more time to figure out.
Right. Right, yeah, 'cause I remember that character. He was on made several appearances, and then he kind of was dismissed by a line of dialogue where Kira's like, "Well, we're not seeing each other anymore because I went to the temple and the prophets told us that we're not meant to walk the same path." So, and then he was never heard from again.
Never heard
So,
from him
you
because
assume
he
he
got
was off
another
doing his
offer.
thing. I know that in the novels, and I didn't follow the novels very closely, and the novels and the TV show are very
Yeah.
far apart. The character went on and was assassinated or something, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully I'm not the one breaking this news to you.
No,
But the character's not around anonymore.
I think I assassinated myself,
Oh,
um, from the show because I went
oh
on to
no.
something else. I went on to something else, so
Oh
I
my gosh. Oh, Kurt, please.
You mentioned Dracula, and you've played Dracula. Talk about playing Dracula. What makes your version of Dracula stand out?
it's been done by so many people, so, they're big boots to fill to play that role. That Dracula that I played was based on the universal monster kind of Dracula, and but I wanted to infuse other things. I didn't just want him to be bestial, and like a monster, he had to have human qualities to him, because I think human beings are truly the most dangerous animals on the face of the earth, and when they're at their worst. And so I really wanted this sociopathic kind of aspect to him, psychological kind of um, nastiness to him, absolutely ruthless and uncaring about human beings or anything for that matter. But at the same time, he had to have a sense of humor, you know. He was a bit camp, you know. So, yeah.
Excellent. Very good. So you had mentioned, obviously, at the top of our interview, outside of acting, you have been an artist and a painter for almost your entire life, and your
Yeah.
career is long. It's accomplished. You've had great showings. You've been had your work displayed in many places, kind of all over the world. Tell us about that part of your life.
Well, it takes up the lion's share of my life, and it is where I have it's where my personal expression is. Acting is great. It's an interpretive art and it's a collaborative art, and from that point of view, it's exciting and can be fun, and it's very social. But what I do as a painter and as a writer is solitary, and but it is at the core of my personal expression and always has been. And I usually work in themes and series of works, and I'm currently, along with that, writing my eighth book, and it's called Odysseys. I think somebody's done The Odyssey again as a movie.
It
Is
comes
it
out this summer. Yeah,
was
Nolan.
that this summer or something? Yeah, Nolan is doing it. But this was before I even knew about that. Odysseys is a five series of paintings, and at the core of it is the theme of destiny. And the paintings are follow individual journeys as they interact with fate and the forces of nature. And so there are five series: Pilgrim series, if I can remember them all: Pilgrim series, Journey series, Wayward Works, the Quest series, and Once Were Angels.
Very good. Excellent.
And
Well, we'll circle back at the end of the interview, and you can tell everybody where, definitely where they can find
mhm,
those and where they can
sure,
find you.
sure.
So, I think Kurt has one more. Things have gone quickly tonight. I think Kurt has one more question.
Yes, I wanted to ask you this. You've been in genre, but you've also played historical figures. You've played Pat Garrett, and you played Errol Flynn. And I recall what my mom said about you playing Errol Flynn. Oh, this guy's more Errol Flynn than Errol Flynn was. So, can you talk about playing those two?
I wish I'd met your mother years ago. Uh, yeah, no, it's true. I played a lot of those sort of characters. Again, there's the icon aspect to them both. And in addition to that, Abraham Lincoln, which was another one which I loved playing.
Wow, I
Very.
can see in the top hat. I can picture it.
Yeah, I didn't actually use the top hat. It was done for
You're already too tall.
Yeah, I didn't need it. How's that? No, but yeah, no, I love playing those roles. They're very important roles. I liked Pat Garrett, which was we had Val Kilmer playing Billy the Kid, and we had a sort of good relationship that went bad in the end. And it was an interesting project. It was written by Gore Vidal, and he also took a role in. And interestingly, Rene Auberjonois, who
Wow.
was a Star Trek guy, um, played the drunk. And it was always good to be with him because he was such a wonderful raconteur. And, between him and Gore Vidal, you got a lot of stories, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah. What other
Well,
historical ones have I done? Oh, Leiden in The Last Days of Pompeii, the original one. But there's quite a few. So,
When
yeah.
you played Flynn, I just rewatched it in preparation for tonight, and I noticed as Flynn, you do not lose your temper. You get into fights, but you stay calm.
Right, and that's the key to winning the fight, actually.
Okay.
I think either that or he was just drunk,
oh,
you know.
yeah,
But I think
right.
that was kind of the way he was, very cavalier about the whole thing. There is a story about John Huston and Flynn having a punch up at some point. I don't know how true it is, but it apparently went on for a very long time with the two of them staggering around. They were, drunk and just swinging away at each other. I'm sure that's what it was. Nothing, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, this has been incredible. Thank you, so much for being here with us. Talk to me a little bit about maybe some stuff that you're working on right now. You talked to me about your novel. Do you have other things that you've got going on, other projects in the works? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm showing a series of works right now called "The Familiars," which is about animals and people, and the paintings are. There are many, many paintings, but it is about the interaction of human beings with animals and how much aware of each other we are. And I'm not talking about pets. I'm talking about animals in the wild. And the series was sort of born out of an experience I had with a young deer, a fawn, in the forest years ago. And this fawn just sort of attached itself to me. And I don't know what it recognized in me, but I certainly felt that I recognized something in the fawn, as though we were one of the same. And that sort of follows on the theme of Sub Rosa too, in that you recognize yourselves as being one being.
Right.
And so I've explored many different animals and human beings and painted them, and they're all you can look at all of these things on my website. So
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, we will have that listed in the show notes. That's awesome. Well, great. Well, again, thanks for being with us. It was absolutely wonderful. Listeners, of course, visit us over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. You can find all of our great spotlight interviews, including our wonderful chat with Mr. Duncan Regehr. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Just one thing I wanted to add was that,
Please.
please go to duncanregehrart.com. That's the new website, and it has all the recent stuff about Odysseys and the familiars and all of that. So come
Great.
and join me and have a look.
You bet. We'll have that in the show notes for you. All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you out there. Thank you.
You betcha.
All right.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.